Has Winslow returned the evidence yet?
Yeah. And the newspaper we found with him is in the file. That's what you wanted, wasn't it? Think you can find something in that?
Too soon to tell, Detective. Thanks, Detective.
Anything for you, kid?
I'd like to see the evidence in the torso case.
Yeah, right, kid. Why would I need another Fed interfering in my investigation? One's plenty.
Because I think I can help you.
You know, kid, you made me curious. Why do you need to see the torso evidence?
Oh, come on, Detective. You smelled a rat ever since my man's head turned up in a box. My case is all wrapped up in this torso killing business. You know it, I know it. All I'm asking for is a little help. Let me see the case file. If anything in my investigation turns up that should have a bearing on your case, you'll be the first person I come to. Or, if you prefer, I can go straight to Winslow.
You know, I'm beginning to like you, Pearson. You'd have made a good cop. Who knows? Maybe you can help me. Nothing like getting a fresh pair of eyes on it anyways. Here you go. Knock yourself out.
There was some ruckus with that Von Hess fella.
Yeah. Funny how he just happened to get caught back there like that, huh?
Yeah, it was funny that way.
I got a little something for you. I don't know why I pocketed this, but I did. I got mad when Ness handed that crowd over to Winslow, so I kept it. This'll probably do you more good than it will me. I don't know what it is, but I saw the crowd drop it. He seemed plenty upset when he couldn't find it.
Thanks, Detective. This might be a big help. Do you know what happened to the medallion Von Hess had on him?
What?
The medallion. It was shaped like an iron cross. He had it with him at the party.
Sorry, kid, I don't know anything about that. But if he had it with him at the party, the FBI should have found it when they tossed him.
Have you found any similarities among the torso victims?
Hard to tell what with the little bits left of them. Only stiff we positively identified other than your man was the killer's first victim, a kid named Angelo Santini.
What do you make of that one?
Kid was a street hustler, petty thief. At first we thought maybe he crossed the wrong man, but when the other bodies started popping up, we knew Santini wasn't a revenge killing. We don't have a whole lot else on him.
What about the newspapers?
Damned if I know, kid. It's the strangest thing. The bodies came wrapped in them. Now, we thought he might be leaving behind a clue for us, but we haven't been able to figure out a pattern. Papers came from all sorts of different times, different places. Nothing sticks out. Maybe you can figure out a connection.
I'll do my best. Any crime scenes bear checking into?
Funny you should mention that, because there was one place I was just thinking about checking again. We found a few bodies around the pond just off of Kingsbury Run. The sewers all run into it. We thought he might be using them, but there are miles and miles of them. You might want to try checking them yourself.
Where's the rest of the evidence?
What do you mean? It's all there.
Well, unless the killer changed his methods just for Louis Fisher, the rest of them should have been found wrapped up as neat as a butcher's steak.
Oh, nothing slips by you, does it, Hotshot? Thing is, that's all I've got. Winslow's been stalling with the evidence from Louis' murder for weeks. Says his boys have it in the lab. Now, if I was the cynical type, I'd say he was withholding evidence so I couldn't find the killer. I'd say he was trying to hog the credit for himself, while we working stiffs do all the work. But that'd just be if I was cynical. What are you gonna do? Leave me here, Pearson? You can't do that. I stuck my neck out for you. Way out. You can't let me down. Come on, kid. I thought you knew what you were doing.
What's on your mind?
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Cassie.
Now relax. Concentrate on the locket. Block everything else out. Concentrate.
Thanks for your help.
You're quite welcome, Jim. I'm glad to help.
Jimbo! What can I do you for?
When you're finished, you come into the kitchen. I make you a good meal.
There's no need for that, ma'am.
Look at you, you're all skin and bones. You come in the kitchen before you go and you eat.
All right. A home-cooked meal does sound good right about now. I know you're going to think this is a little screwy, sir, but... well, I am convinced that there is a connection between this Brotherhood of Thule and the Torso killings.
I'd say you'd lost your marbles, but I think I know you a little better than that. All the same, that's rather a large leap of logic, don't you think? What proof do you have?
Nothing firm, maybe just a hunch.
I'm gonna need something more solid than a hunch.
Well, for starters, there's Louis Fisher. Now, we know he worked for this Brotherhood, and he was only killed after I got a hold of him at the Raven Room. Now, I think he was killed by this Brotherhood to keep him from talking, and they sent his head in a box to try to scare me away. But Detective Marillo is convinced that he was murdered by the Torso killer. That's a mighty big coincidence, don't you think?
Go on.
Well, here's the really screwy part. There's the Black Dahlia.
The black what?
Dahlia, sir, it's a rare gem. Legend has it that whoever has this thing will be granted great powers, but only after you give it a blood sacrifice of 9 victims. It's hoodoo nonsense, sir, but it must be pretty valuable. Because Von Hess was just a little too eager to get his hands on it. That's what got him into hot water at the Raven Room.
What does this gemstone of yours have to do with the Raven Room?
I think this Brotherhood uses the Raven Room as a front. And whoever's behind this society, he's the one with the Dahlia. That's what Von Hess was trying to get in the club's back room.
Now let me see if I've got this straight. The Brotherhood of Thule uses the Raven Room as its front, and they have this magic gemstone the Nazis want. And, if I understand you correctly, the Torso killings are all on account of this Black Dahlia as well?
I know it sounds half-baked.
I don't think it's even made it into the oven, Mr. Pearson.
Trust me on this one, sir. Please. I know I don't have any proof, but if I'm sure of anything, I'm sure of this. The Torso killer is connected to the Brotherhood of Thule, and all these murders are tied up somehow in this black gem of theirs.
Very well, I'll let you pursue this. For now, talk to Winslow and Marillo, see what they've got on the Torso killings. See if you can't find some solid evidence of a connection to the Raven Room. Now, I'm sure I don't need to tell you we can have no more incidents like the one we had at the party. See if you can't handle this a little more delicately.
Thank you, sir. You won't regret this.
See that I don't, Mr. Pearson.
What happened to that Von Hess fellow?
He's in Winslow's hands. I've requested that he be turned over into our custody, but I'm afraid the FBI has all the pull with the men in Washington right now. I should imagine, however, that at the very least, he'll be deported to Germany.
Sir, something strange is definitely going on at the Raven Room. I think it's time we officially open an investigation into the club.
I'm afraid I can't do that. I've had word, straight from the top. We are to stay away from the members of that club.
But, sir, they are up to their necks in this Brotherhood of Thule.
You really think there's something to it? This is off the record, Jim. Go ahead and look into it. See what else you can find. But be extremely cautious. Everything you do from now on with regards to that club is unofficial. The COI can't sanction any of it.
Don't worry, Mr. Sullivan. I won't let you down. I've got to rush off. I'll explain later.
What about
I'm sorry, I don't have the time. Thanks.
I'm telling you, I saw his secret lab. I saw the way in. Are you crazy? You know I can't get a warrant out of your trip to a crystal gazer.
There's no time for a warrant. I thought you'd want to know when I'd come across the killer. I guess I was wrong. But something weird happened down there, and I'm going to find out what it was. With or without you.
Wait, kid! I want in on this cockamamie scheme of yours.
This is his room. The police already searched it many times. I don't know why you need to see it again.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm just new to the case. Just thought I'd have a look around, see if I could see anything that maybe some of the other detectives might have missed.
You leave things the way you found them. You won't disturb anything.
You won't even know I've been here, ma'am. I'll leave this place exactly as I found it. I was raised to pay respect for the departed.
Better be on the level with this secret hideout, Jimbo. I'd hate to ruin a new pair of shoes for nothing.
It's back here, all right. I could barely keep up with him. Nearly lost me in these blasted tunnels.
I would have imagined it would have come at you with an axe. Oh, God. Good Lord, this place is awful.
I need that medallion now.
Here you go, sport. I trust you know what to do with this. I'll cover you from here. I don't think that's a good sign, Jim. Jim, look at the faces. Oh God, I think I'm gonna be sick. Sorry, buddy, you're on your own.
Dick! Dick, come back! It stopped!
Well, I guess it's just you and me now, you sick bastard. The back of the Raven Room. The torso killer is connected to them.
Our brotherhood grew strong. Dehu Isa Dagos.
Fehu Isa Dagos.
Stand steady, brothers. Go now.
That pendant. That's just the sort of talisman that Madame Cassandra said I should find to use against him. The candlestick. That must be the trick to getting into that cabinet.
You got a smoke?
I didn't know you smoked, kid.
I do now.
What the hell?
Jesus.
Looks like we're a little late to help victim number 9. God.
That can't be. It's him.
You know the stiff?
That's the killer. I'm sure of it.
No, you were wrong, Jim. That poor sap couldn't be the killer. But at least we found his hideout, even if he isn't here. You did good work. We'll get some clues we can use out of this.
And they're all gonna point to that man right there on the altar, Detective. That's the killer, I'm sure of it.
There's this cane. Someone took it.
Took what, kid?
The Dahlia. It's missing.
Nobody had better have taken anything. Elliot, I want these amateurs removed immediately. They've botched everything. Why, if we hadn't been tipped off that they were down here...
Amateurs, we just bust this case wide open. We weren't too chicken.
I had enough sense to get a search warrant.
You're just
now we won't be able to use
sore.
one shred of evidence.
Sore
from
because
here.
we found the killer's hideout first. You're worried our mugs will be on the front page instead of yours.
There'll be no contact with the press about this.
Mr. Ness?
You just busted illegally into a club owned by some very important people. People with contacts to Washington, all the way to the top. They're going to be very unhappy with what we found here.
You can't just cover this up.
Mr. Pearson, you're way out of your jurisdiction here. You're in no position to be arguing with anyone.
But how can you...
I'm going to do what's in the best interest of this country. President Roosevelt was just on the radio. The Japs have bombed Pearl Harbor. We're going to war.
What happened to Mr. Penske? What did the Bureau do with him?
Why, whatever you talking about, sport?
Why was Mr. Penske moved from his room at Sunnyvale?
Look, now, I don't have any idea what it is you're all worked up about. Last I heard, he was shipped off to a sanitarium after his crack-up. Now, if he had been moved, I'm sure it was due to his doctor's recommendations.
What happened to Von Hess?
We're questioning him right now. I imagine he'll be sent back to Germany shortly.
Did he spill anything?
Said he had every right to be at that party. Won't say what he wanted in that back room, though.
Did you find anything on Von Hess?
No, nothing important. Just some papers, money, that sort of thing.
No medallion?
Well, yes, now that you mention it, he did have some sort of cross on him. Why? What's so important about it?
I think that medallion plays a part in my investigation. I'm not sure what just yet, but I'd like to get my hands on it.
Oh, no, that's not too likely. Now, he may have had his hand caught in the cookie jar, but he's still an important diplomat. Now, we just can't pass around his personal belongings now, can we, sport?
He stole that medallion.
Do you have any proof of that?
No.
Then I'm afraid there's nothing I can do.
I need that medallion you found on Von Hess. Isn't there something you can do, Dick?
No can do, sport. I can't just pass around federal evidence now, can I?
It's extremely important. I wouldn't ask you if it weren't.
Why? What's so important about that cross, Jimbo? Now, you look like the cat that ate the canary.
I followed a suspect through the sewers underneath Cleveland. He managed to get away, but I found a secret chamber. I think this man's the torso killer.
The torso killer? Well, we've long suspected he had such a hideout. His work's too messy to be conducted just anywhere. But what's this all have to do with that cross, Jimbo?
Well, I didn't find a hideout, not exactly, but I came to a dead end. There was a door that looked like it had some kind of strange lock. A cross-shaped lock, about the size of that medallion.
You don't say. Well, that certainly is interesting. I'll send some men over to take a look. You just tell me where that is.
No dice.
I'm the one with the jurisdiction over the torso killer.
And I'm the one who's invested all his time and energy in the Brotherhood of Thule investigation. And now that it's about to bust wide open, I am not turning it over for all the money in the world.
Well, seems we've reached a bit of an impasse. I can get the medallion. You know where to use it. All right. All right, I'll make you a deal, Jimbo. I'll come with you. I get the credit for solving the torso killings. You get the credit for cracking this Brotherhood of Thule thing, huh? Not bad for the career, that.
I'm not looking for a career boost, Dick. I just want this case solved and these murders stopped.
Well, of course.
I'd like to see the evidence in the torso case.
Jimbo, that's hardly your jurisdiction.
True, but I believe there's a connection between my case and your killer.
That doesn't seem very likely. How do you figure?
Well, there's the Lewis Fisher murder.
Lewis Fisher worked at many different places and made quite a few enemies. It doesn't surprise me that the torso killer was one of them.
Detective Merlo tells me you've still got some of the evidence in the torso case.
Our boys are going over the evidence very thoroughly. We've had a late start on this case. Marilo's been working on it far longer than us, and he's gotten nowhere. Now that we've been called in, we intend to do the job right. If there's one thing in this world I can't abide, it's incompetence.
Oh, so it's not because Detective Merlo has a leg up on you like he says.
I'm going to be the man to catch this killer. But I suppose I should look into it and make sure my men return the evidence once they're done with it. Whoa, you're not leaving me here by myself, are you? You can't get cold feet now. We're almost home free.
So, Angelo and Louis knew each other. And why doesn't it surprise me to see two torso victims hanging out in the clubroom of the Brotherhood of Thule? That's fresh blood, all right. He must have cut his hand pretty bad. I better make a note of these weird symbols. Are you ready, Detective? Our killer's hideout's right down those steps.
I called some of my men. They should be here to back us up soon. But just in case.
Madam Cassandra awaits you.
Something weighs heavy on your heart. What is it that is troubling you? Ow! Oh, your aura has been branded.
What?
Oh, your spirit. It carries a very dark cloud.
Ma'am, I'm not following any of your Swami act. Can you speak to me in plain English? How about we start with why you sent me this?
Why, you must be the young man from the COI.
That's right, ma'am. I'm Jim Pearson. Now, Madam
You're
Cassandra?
among friends now, Jim, please. My name is Cassie. Oh, Dottie! Dottie! Oh, hello, Dottie. Could you please bring Mr. Pearson and I a cup of tea?
Yes, madam.
This Madam Cassandra bit, it's just for my clients. Thank you. Now, I'm sure there's lots to talk about between you and I.
Yes, ma'am.
Well then, shall we begin?
Have you heard from Mr. Penske? You mentioned in your letter that he'd been in touch with you.
Just an odd little note with no return address. It only just arrived. It said if I were to receive this message, he would be out of reach for some time, and that I was to contact you immediately on a matter of utmost importance. He didn't mention what that matter was.
How long ago was this?
I only just received his letter. I wrote you straight away. Walter wouldn't have sent me that message without good reason.
Are you and Mr. Penske very close to one another?
Well, if anyone can be close to that stubborn old mule, I guess it's me.
Well, I'm sure he's fine, wherever he is. Mr. Penske was supposed to help me with something that, well, it may all sound a little strange.
There's nothing strange under the sun. There are only small minds with small views of the world around us.
Well, he had me find these 3 trinkets, a book, a feather, and this fang. There's some kind of magic charms that are supposed to, well, they're to help me with some problems with these nightmares that I was having. He was going to show me how to use them. The darndest thing is, my nightmares have stopped. Only I hardly sleep at all now.
The talismans are only temporary measures. Walter understood that. He should, after all. That's what I taught him. The problem is that your aura is still branded. You must be cleansed.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Cassie, I just don't get what it is you're trying to tell me.
That's okay, Jim. Let me try to explain this to you in layman's terms. Your spirit has an energy which someone like me, someone with a trained eye, can see. That energy glows with a white light. With you, I see a black shadow surrounding that light. Someone has tried to invade your spirit. Those nightmares are merely symptoms. Your subconscious mind is much more powerful.
Whoa, you're losing me again.
Someone is attacking you through your dreams. The 3 talismans are keeping them at bay, but that's only temporary. You must use them against your tormentor if you wish to be free.
Okay. So how do I get this guy?
It is dangerous, but you must stop them at the source.
I don't care about the danger. I just want to get this guy.
I can put you in a trance. You can travel to your dream state and face the source of your nightmares.
No offense, ma'am, but this all sounds like a lot of hooey to me.
Right. Is it any crazier than the nightmares that have plagued you already?
I don't guess so.
Shall we begin?
I'm not ready just yet.
Just let me know when you are.
Could you put me in a trance?
Of course. Let's begin.
I came to this locked door, and it was the craziest thing. Something happened to the archway, and all these voices started babbling at once.
Perhaps they were trying to tell you something.
But none of it made any sense. I was floating in the night sky. I was surrounded by colored spheres.
Like the stars and the planets?
I suppose so.
There must be a pattern. You need to find it. In astrology, the spheres are associated with any number of things: colors, metals, numbers, even angels. Find the associations and you will be able to find your way through the spheres. Perhaps this will help.
What is it?
It's a book on astrology. It will help you see the patterns amongst the stars and planets.
Do you mind if I have another look at that book?
Not at all.
I was in this giant hall, and at the base of a throne, there was a pool, and around the edge of the pool were these little stones. And then when I placed one of those stones in the pool, I saw things.
The stones are iconic. They are a representation or a symbol of a person. These icons allow you to see who they represent through your dreams. It's a simple matter to create these icons. All you need is a personal item or some kind of totem to represent who you want to see.
I saw myself in there. I was at this very table in a trance. You were by my side.
Yes. Your attacker must have obtained a totem of yours. Any personal item of importance would have worked. A lock of your hair, something you cared about deeply, like a family heirloom.
My St. Christopher's medal. It's been missing.
Yes, that certainly would have worked. Of course, you could turn the tables on him and see him in your dream if you had one of his totems. It would have to be something personal, something that was part of him, something that he uses regularly.
If I knew who he was, I wouldn't need to see him in my dreams. I'd go straight after the son of a bitch. Excuse me, ma'am.
It's quite all right, Jim. I've heard far worse. It's true, finding an appropriate totem won't be easy. It may aid you yet.
All right. If I can find anything like that, I'll be sure to bring it to you.
Walter said I could help you. I'll do what I can.
I'm going to leave you alone now. I would just be in your way here.
Thank you, ma'am.
I told you not to touch anything, you son of a bitch!
Do you know of anybody that would have wanted to harm your boy, ma'am?
Everyone loved my Angelo. He was a sweet angel.
Do you recall him getting into any fights? Someone with a grudge against your son?
My Angelo was not killed because of a grudge. He was killed by a monster. My boy never hurt nobody. He was a good boy.
I'm sure he was, ma'am. I'm sure he was. I'd like to see the torso case evidence again.
Help yourself.
Thanks, Detective.
Anything for you, kid.